check this out. It's always a pleasure to have another guy who's a veteran of the United States Army and airborne qualified join me on the Hugh Hewitt radio program. It's my friend Jim Hanson. Jim, remember when we used to carry AR-14s in the Army, weapons of war?
Yeah, I'm hiding mine in the backyard right now for when Beto O'Rourke comes to try and confiscate them.
Yeah, the fascist furry from Waco. Just what we need, right?
You know it.
Now, look, we got a lot of there are a lot of things we could talk about. We could talk about Afghanistan. We can talk about the tragic loss of 2 Marine raiders in Iraq, how that's still going on. But I think first we've got to look at what's happening with Joe Biden. It's pretty clear he's going to, quote unquote, win the nomination. I want to ask you something. And this is a pure hypothetical, not related to anything that's going on right now. If you had been naive and believed that, if you worked hard and voted for your anti-establishment candidate, that your vote would be counted and that the establishment would respect your decision and it wouldn't be stolen from you, and yet it was stolen from you, would you fall in line and vote for the feisty fossil they foisted upon you?
Dude, I have been using the hashtag Democrat Civil War for the past couple months because
the last Civil War was a Democrat Civil War, so that's super appropriate.
There you go. Everybody knew we were going to screw Bernie over. There was no question about it. No matter how well he did, the second they saw that he was a danger to the Democrat establishment, they were going to take him down. And they did it. They cheated the system. They cheated their own system. So, I mean, sure, they didn't, technically break any laws or anything, but they cheated their own voters. And I have a feeling that when they get to Milwaukee for their convention, that Antifa and the rest of the crazy left, which is a significant portion of the Democrat Party now, may burn that town down.
Well, look, I think they're a bunch of sissies. I think they're just going to take it. Jim Hanson, I think all the Bernie bros are going to fall in line and obediently vote for this desiccated weirdo that's going to allegedly get the nomination, although he's really a meat puppet, being controlled on a string from the establishment of the DMC. I think they're too weak and cowardly to stand up for your rights. What do you think?
Well, I think they are not likely to come out and vote at all if they don't have the guts to actually. But I think some of them will go crazy. I think we will definitely get some quality 1968 style riots. Unfortunately, Milwaukee's right up the road from Chicago, who has had that experience before. But I think you're right to an extent that they're not going to fight it inside in a way that changes anything. So we're going to have a guy who is incapable of operating even as a candidate for more than 10 minutes at a time. He's got to be the happiest guy about coronavirus of anyone, or at least his handlers are, because now they can cancel events and they can keep him out of the public eye, and not have him bumbling around looking like Grandpa Simpson yelling at clouds.
Yeah, this guy's less Abe Lincoln than Abe Simpson. I think for the next 3 months, they're going to treat microphones with Joe Biden like Dracula treats crucifixes and garlic.
Well, they can't afford to have him. I mean, he's at that stage where, as we saw with the auto workers he was yelling at, he's an insult factory where if you don't immediately jump into line with him, he's yelling at you, telling you to get off his lawn, and threatening to beat you up.
He's like an unfunny and incoherent Don Rickles.
I think the fun part, though, is we're going to get to watch how the Democrats actually have to twice in one campaign season game their system, because they can't actually put him up against Trump.
No,
oh my God,
the debate's good. If he actually gets nominated, if he doesn't mysteriously fall out for some reason, and have somebody like perhaps Felonious Milhouse von Pantsuit parachute in to quote unquote save the party, there's 0% chance he's going to do a debate. There'll be I'm not going to give that racist a platform. Yeah. Okay.
An excuse.
Yeah. Okay, Joe. Here's the thing. And you've been an observer of politics for a long time. Did you ever think you would see the day where a Democrat politician, party of the working man, allegedly, is sitting there wagging his finger at a guy, literally dressed as a construction worker or a assembly line guy, because that's what he is. And he's wagging and he's mad because this peasant is questioning his Highness Joe Biden, the demigod of Dover, the credit card king.
The fun thing about it is Biden was the only one in that party right now, in that collection of liberal, progressive, and socialist elites, who had a prayer of reaching out to any of the blue-collar Democrats with an ounce of credibility. And now he just threw that away. And it's hilarious to watch people like Chris Cillizza from CNN trying to say this was actually a great moment for Biden. He showed that he's not just a passive candidate. He showed that he'll stand up for his ideas.
Oh, yeah, right. Chris Cillizza. Yeah, I prefer to take my political insights from a guy with upper body strength.
Or a body, period. Yeah, I mean, you don't reach out to people in the blue-collar factory worker crowd by telling them that they're full of it.
Well, that
is not a usual technique for winning over the Rust Belt voters.
But I don't think they're interested in that anymore, Jim Hanson. I think they are interested in a whole new demographic, woke college students, government flunkies, frustrated, divorced, middle-aged women whose husbands just said, "I'm done with you." I don't think they want any kind of, traditionally masculine kind of working class kind of guys who actually build things or defend things. I think they've written that all off. And of course, Trump grew up around these guys. Trump speaks their language. And I think more importantly, Trump respects them.
And they can tell Trump likes them.
Yes.
That's the thing. He, for whatever reason, the billionaire in the race, the one now left fighting the millionaire and the government corruptocrat, he relates to him. And I think you're absolutely right. The Democrats have no rapport with actual productive class people.
I'm not even sure they want a rapport with them.
Class.
I think, Jim Hanson, Security Studies Group, I think they find people like that factory or like that working class guy to be morally inferior. I don't think they want to be in a coalition with them.
Do not. They would send us to re-education camps, and have us retrain so that our beliefs now fit their new world and identity politics, liberal grievance mongering model.
Well,
great.
Did you see how unrepentantly cisgender that man was?
He was definitely bearded and had calluses on his hands. And the best thing is, of the coalition you mentioned, they're throwing away a large cohort, which is the blue-collar Democrats, the former union guys. The young, Bernie bros and people like that don't vote reliably. That's the best thing. The people who do are those blue-collar Democrats and all the people who can actually do math and understand that free stuff and government spending is not the way to go. So those people will definitely be out to vote, and they traded it for a coalition. Now the angry cat ladies will vote. We know that. But other than that, they don't have a full-form coalition that can take down Donald J. Trump. Not a chance.
We only have about 30 seconds left. And I wish we got to it a little earlier. What do you think of the pullout that's just begun from Afghanistan?
I've been in favor of it for a long time. We don't have a definable victory or any way to get to it. We've been there close to 2 decades. And the Afghans are going to have to take care of this themselves. If they, bring the terrorists back in, we can always come back and start flattening the villages that support them.
Well, thank you, Jim Hanson, president of the Security Studies Group. You can follow him at Jim Hanson with an O, DC on Twitter. And